Hi everyone and welcome back to Butchery 101. I'm Christina Glinoga and today we're going to talk about some makeup tips for this hot ass weather we're about to have. I do also have some very serious thoughts about climate change and how the heat waves that we're experiencing, namely the stuff that we had here in the Pacific Northwest over the last month or so. Not only are these heat waves actual climate change, but our food supply is also about to be impacted heavily, and so please do check out my live stream recordings. I'll link them in the video and then also in the description below. I know it's kind of weird to hear about makeup tips from your butcher, but first of all, I'm not really your average butcher. Secondly, I used to work as a line cook, and when I was a line cook, the super hot trendy thing to do in restaurants was to have an open kitchen. And so for a little while, it was all the rage for guests to be able to have a clear and open view of the folks making their food. And I know some of y'all might be like, well, you were working, especially back of the house, does it really matter what you looked like? Or some maybe well-intentioned but misguided positivity like, you should love yourself and how you look no matter whether or not you're wearing makeup. And honestly, I also used to say things like this. But what I found was that when I didn't wear makeup, I would shy away from getting my photo taken. Like, I would make myself invisible. Like, I would shy away from anybody's camera. I tried really hard to not be seen, like literally to not be seen at all. And I know that's on me and my own insecurity kind of, but I'm of the mind now that I want to give myself the best possible scenario for confidence. And for me personally, and I feel like for a lot of you, that includes wearing makeup on a regular basis. Not to mention there are like legit scientific studies done about how women are not taken seriously unless they are wearing makeup. It sucks. But anyway, more on that another time. So I did start wearing makeup on the line and no longer shied away from cameras, which again, it was all the rage for guests to see the kitchen, and considering the age of Instagram at the time, this was quite common in restaurants. And I felt great wearing makeup in there. But of course, in professional kitchens, especially on the hot side, conditions are extremely warm and the job itself is actually very active. So my makeup regimen had to last and look good, not only through 10 to 14 hour shifts, but also through the long public transit / walking commutes that I have on both ends of my shift, and then also the literal blood, sweat, and tears that are involved in such a profession. And so, through a lot of trial and error and a handful of dinner services, working with makeup melting into my eyes, I finally honed in on a makeup routine that can withstand even the hottest and longest summer days. For the record, this is also the makeup routine that I use to this day when I'm going to do like catering gigs over the summertime, where yes, you do have to look professional and you want to look good, but it's going to be hot and you're going to be working and you don't have time or even the opportunity to touch up or like check in on your makeup at all. So it has to be good from start to finish. I also figured out a skincare routine that, whenever I was consistent about it, would keep my skin from breaking out into like all out acne war. And yes, in my late 20s when I started cooking professionally, and now into my mid 30s, I do still get zits. I don't really know a life without them. And when people talk about how like uncommon or weird adult acne is, like, okay, good for you, I guess, that you don't have acne, but I do. So anyway, this is included in my skincare routine. Or rather, this is accommodated in my skincare routine. And for the record, I just want to point out that I know that everybody's skin and face is a little bit different, and so what works for me may not work for you and might not work for other people, or it might work. What works for other people might not work for me. And also, I might aim for different looks from what, say, you're hoping for, but I'm hoping that these techniques, tricks, and products will help broaden your beauty horizons and make it easier for you to look your happiest and most confident during your hot girl summer. So now, without much further ado, here's my hotline, hot weather, hot girl summer, weatherproof makeup routine. Step 1, clean the face. I really love these super convenient makeup removing wipes, and I know it's not the most sustainable product ever, and it does break my heart to be using like a product like this that's like a throwaway thing, but please don't at me. 100 companies cause 71% of all emissions, and so maybe go after them for what they're doing instead of little old me. Leave that there. Also, if you're somebody who has ever gone to bed with your makeup on, specifically because you got home super late and like maybe you're tired tired from having worked a 14-hour day, those are a lifesaver, and utilizing those have been pretty wonderful for me. So anyway, I do like to use those and cleanse my face thoroughly before I put on any makeup. Number 2, I like to use this Moroccan argan oil as a base for my skin. It pulls double duty. It moisturizes my skin and also provides like a slightly tacky surface for all the rest of my makeup to adhere to. I think you could also use like a tinted moisturizer, but this happens to do double duty for me, and again, my skin reacts really well to it, so I really appreciate that. Number 3, mineral foundation powder. For a long time, like all of middle school, high school, most of college, I was a huge proponent of thick, creamy foundations topped with like a matching powder, which worked okay, but definitely caused a lot of breakouts, especially in my younger years, and then certainly through my young adult years. And it required that nothing ever touch my face, including my own sweat. So this was best suited for a sedentary, short shift kind of work environment, or possibly even just like a quick coffee date. But ever since I started using Bare Minerals, my life has changed so much. It's super light, long lasting, and stands up against a lot of heat and sweat and activity. They have a pretty good range of shades. Actually, when I was shopping just yesterday at Sephora, I noticed that there are a lot of shades. In fact, to the point that I could barely discern the difference between 2 that I thought would be like perfect for me. So yeah, I think there's a wide variety, and I think they're getting better about being more inclusive, but I totally understand that it's hard for melanated people to get the right shade to work. So I understand if Bare Minerals isn't the right brand for you, but I will say that like a mineral based foundation, like a powder that isn't going to like be super heavy or clunky on your skin, that is the important takeaway from Bare Minerals. I personally use 2 shades. I use this lighter one called Sandstone for my eye bags, just above my brow, like the center of my forehead, just for like some highlights there, and then also like around my nose and mouth and any other like undesirably or distractingly dark situations going on. Now onto the bronzer and blush. I'll pop on the contouring portion of my makeup before the mineral veil so that the powders have something to stick to. I'll cover this a little bit more in a minute, but the mineral veil tends to prevent other stuff from sticking, but also when you do it after the contour, I find that it helps set the bronzer and the blush, which is very useful, especially in hot weather. This is Hoola Bronzer by Benefit. I like to use the mini size because I'll just never go through that much bronzer in the amount of time that you're supposed to have makeup for. And truth be told, the little one has actually lasted me years, and I honestly probably have kept it for a little bit too long. It also came with a really useful brush, which is not always the case when it comes to makeup product, and so I really appreciate that Benefit hooked us up with like an in-product brush that is like genuinely useful. This blush is by Bare Minerals, and something that I really appreciated about it is that it looks really natural on me. Like, I don't think that the tone is distracting or unnatural. I think it works really well with my natural skin tone, and that's kind of a theme. I am always on the hunt for pink and rosy tones that are natural looking on my skin tone. So if anybody with this particular skin tone out there has any advice for blushes or lip gloss, please let me know. And then for the blush, I use the Bare Minerals medium brush for this. Next, we're going to talk about our Tinted Mineral Veil by Bare Minerals. Now, this is truly an MVP of my makeup routine. There are lots of setting powders out there these days. There's even like setting sprays. I've gotten quite a few samples in different shades. Some are even like kind of shimmery, so depending on what it is that you're looking for in terms of your finished look, you have a lot of options available to you, but this one is my absolute favorite. What you have to look for is the presence of cornstarch in the product. That's what soaks up any excess oil and sweat and really sets the rest of your look for long-term wear. I super love this stuff. I think it does a really great job like getting rid of sheen, and I mean, even under these studio lights that I'm using, I don't look particularly shiny, and I gotta hand it to them. I think they're doing a really good job. Now, this is a general theme in my makeup products, or like just any of my purchases in general, but I love that this stuff pulls double duty. I use it to set My general skin foundation look, the more the merrier, you know, especially if you know that you're staring down the barrel of like an especially hot day. Be generous with the setting powder, especially this stuff. For me, it kind of acts as a second shade of my foundation, and so I really enjoy it the way that my skin looks the more I put on. But I also use it as eyeshadow. The slightly darker tint works super well for a natural eye, and again, the starchy setting powder also helps keep my eyeliner from running or smudging. My eyelids are kind of oily. I don't know if that's like kind of common or if it's not, but with a couple swipes of the tinted mineral veil, my eyeliner and my look overall is set up for long hot day success. I use the smallest Bare Minerals brush to do the detail work on my eyelids. And then for the rest of my face, I like to use the largest Bare Minerals brush available. I know a lot of folks would want a more colorful eyeshadow move here, but two things about me. I have personally tried for literal years to do all of the eyeshadow looks, like smoky, contour, evening, whatever, all of it. And I've tried tons of different products for my face and for my eyes and whatever looks I can find. And to be honest, I just haven't liked any of them enough to commit to doing that any more times. Even for my more formal events or fun events, I prefer this look for my eyes. And again, this makeup tutorial was born of a line cook at work look, so natural is generally the way for me to go. If you are looking for a more colorful but still practical look, I would maybe try those sheer / shimmery setting powders out there and seeing how that works in tandem with your other makeup looks. Which I think, by the way, eye makeup right now is like so beautiful. Like I think everyone out there who's doing like the extra like liner like above your lid situation, I think that looks so cool. And please let me know if that's something that like smudges easily or like how you get that to like last your entire day. Hi everyone, I'm just going to take a quick moment right here to talk about a couple other Butchery 101 projects and how you can best support this channel. First, I want to tell y'all about the weekly Butchery 101 YouTube live stream series. Every Tuesday around lunchtime Pacific Standard Time, I hand select a few news articles to read to you regarding meat, agriculture, and food. And sometimes I include a couple pieces like essays and excerpts from experts to give you a fuller understanding of the meat and food world around you. Next, I want to tell y'all about my other live stream series, the Patreon exclusive weekly Butchery live stream. You can sign up via the Patreon link in the description below. Every Wednesday afternoon, I go live to unbox and break down some meat. It might be a small whole animal like rabbit or duck, and someday it might even be a dry-aged beef subprimal. We'll see. Working on it still. I'll share with you the entire process from unboxing to prep, including how / where I went about acquiring the meat, and that way, if you're ever wondering about certain purchasing methods like CSAs or meat shares or farmers markets, you get an insider view via the live stream. As I cook and consume the meat over the week, I'll post all the progress, recipes, techniques, and most importantly, the mistakes I make on a private Instagram account just for Patreons. I hope y'all can make it to the live stream so we can chat, but if not, both live streams will have recordings available, usually same day. The Patreon exclusive live streams will obviously only be available to Patreons, but that's the lovely thing about being a Patreon. There are tons of other levels and benefits for Patreons though, like monthly one-on-one meat consultations, ads for your small business on YouTube and Instagram, or you can even sponsor an entire YouTube video. Again, the link is in the description below, and I hope y'all do pop over and join us. And finally, a super easy way to support this channel is to pop over to our GoFundMe page and drop us a donation. Any amount is super appreciated, and you'll be helping to support a woman of color owned, meat-centric small business and helping yourself and others get informed about meat. And now, back to the show. Next, let's talk about eyelashes. I use an eyelash curler almost exclusively. I know some of y'all might use mascara or falsies, which I super respect. I personally have yet to incorporate these into my own routine, and I'm kind of okay with like the length of my lashes, but I'm more concerned with them like swooping up than necessarily like the length that I have there. Mascara tends to weigh down my lashes so much that like even though they're longer, they point straight down, and it's not a good look for me. I also end up with like mascara goop like in my eye like all the time, and I don't know why that's always the case, but it is always like literally always the case with every single mascara I've ever tried. I've only had one mascara experience that I loved to pieces because it didn't weigh my lashes down. It like held them up in a way that was like really like flirty and beautiful and like felt like very feminine. I bought maybe 2 tubes of it in junior year of high school, and the powers that be at whatever makeup company it was decided like immediately thereafter to discontinue it. I don't know what the heck. I just remember one day I saw it at Walgreens for like a super mega clearance sale, and I was like, yes! So I bought 2 tubes of it and then never saw it again. Ugh, such is the story of my life, I think. So anyway, now I just curl my eyelashes using an eyelash curler, and I'll also use the plain brush from my eyebrow pencil to brush off any excess powder before applying the eyeliner, and then I'll let my liquid eyeliner coat my lashes so that it gives them like just a little bit extra oomph. I found this wonderful eyelash curler by Shiseido. If you aren't aware, I'm Filipino, and so my eyes are a particular shape. Like, you can definitely see that they are a particular shape, and so when looking for an eyelash curler, I highly recommend checking your brands and seeing which ones are better suited for your particular eye shape. And I don't necessarily mean like the shape coming from the front that you notice coming from the front. I mean like the curve of your eyeball and the way that your eyelid and eyelashes curl around your eyeball. So anyway, I was super stoked to find this one that has a more gentle slope that fits my eyes really well. I do a little pinch about halfway up the eyelashes for a slight curl, and then a couple big squeezes at the base of my eyelash to get like the full-on perked up look. My outer lashes tend to already be curled, and so I tried to avoid touching them with the curler. Again, I'm trying really hard to like maintain the hair follicles there because I don't really know what to do if like my natural lashes like stop being a thing. Next, eyeliner. Fam, I've tried them all. Like I said earlier, I've tried like literally every type of eyeliner look, eyeshadow look, whatever. After covering up my acne, which I've had since I was like in 3rd grade or whatever, making my eyes seem larger and more beautiful has been my literal top priority since I started wearing makeup. So yeah, I've tried the pencils, I've tried the gel with like its extra little brush, every liquid eyeliner ever. Even as a line cook, I tried all of my Sephora samples out. Like the closest sample was the Kat Von D tattoo liner, but even then my oily lids made pretty quick work of that stuff. And when I was testing it out on my hands, like sometimes you'll like swipe a little bit of makeup onto the back of your hand to test how it works out with your skin, and it was like kind of transparent looking. No shade to Kat Von D. I'm sure for some people's skin it works really well, but it did not work well for mine. So now I am super married to the Marc Jacobs Blackour liquid eyeliner. It's super smooth and keeps its consistency pretty damn well over the lifetime of each tube. And even when it starts to get a little bit thick, you can just like shake the tube like a marker or a can of spray paint and it thins out again pretty well. You can also store it tip down to keep the eyeliner liquidy and as close to the tip as possible. And fam, this stuff stays. Like again, sometimes you'll try makeup on your hand just to see how it works with your skin, and when I did it for the first time in the store, it stayed on my skin for at least 2 full-on food-safe hand washes. And then paired with my Mineral Veil quote-unquote eyeshadow trick that I mentioned earlier, this stuff lasts and lasts. Like, I've already mentioned that the hot work conditions that this eyeliner technique has worked for me or has gotten me through, but fam, she's also gotten me through the season finale of WandaVision on Disney Plus, and like seriously, after all of the crying, all of the emotion, and all of like the collective trauma we were processing while watching that show, I still had nearly perfect eyeliner afterwards, and that's some hero status eyeliner if you ask me. I will say though, I think that mascara phenomenon is happening to me now, where I found this brand that I super love to pieces and am committed to for like the rest of my life, but I don't know why, but it's like really hard for me to find it now. A lot of the Sephora stores that I go to like don't carry it, or they do carry Marc Jacobs but they don't carry this particular product of theirs, and I'm like, oh my god, Why can't we just like have the things we want? Anyway, so luckily with my last trip to the Sephora store, I was working with a really lovely sales associate who helped me pick out another brand. And at first, she did try to point me towards the Kat Von D because I mentioned how much I really love the winged eyeliner look. And I was like, I don't really like it. Like, I tried a sample and it didn't really work for me. She was like, hey, have you tried Fenty? And I am so excited about wearing Fenty right now. I think Rihanna is a wonderful artist and a cool human being, and I'm happy to like throw money in her direction. And when I did the back of the hand trick with this stuff, it was like super dark, super strong, and the felt tip of the eyeliner itself, like the applicator, is really, really narrow, and so you can be extremely precise with the way that you apply it to your eye. And I love it. I'm wearing it now. And so I'll let y'all know if like by the end of today it's just smeared all over the place, but like so far so good. Next, let's talk about the eyebrows. I maintain my eyebrows myself with a combination of trimming and plucking. I'm someone who came of age during the thin brow era of the 90s, and so right when I started caring about what my face looked like, it was super trendy to have extremely thin eyebrows. So I have definitely overplucked my eyebrows to death, and I'm super sad that I allowed like dumb mainstream American culture like damage my eyebrows like that. But I feel like we're all on a path of healing, and so now I've kind of switched up my routine and I'm trying to let them heal quite a bit. I haven't yet taken the dive into microblading, but if you have and you like it, please let me know. I've heard a couple things here and there that like are a little bit unsavory about the process, and I'm not committed to having a tattoo service for that portion of my face just yet. I also feel like if I'm going to get a tattoo now, I really want to get something that is like cool or fun or something else, not just like for my eyebrows. Anyway, I really enjoy the look that I see from other people when they get their eyebrows microbladed, so maybe, who knows, maybe I'll do it in the future. But for now, I'm using this Anastasia brand Brow Wiz in dark brown. One of the trickiest bits about eyebrow makeup is finding the exact right shade. The advice that led me to this particular product that I love to pieces now is that you want to pick something that's about 2 shades lighter than your natural hair color, or maybe whatever hair color you have at the time. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's like 2 shades lighter than I think with what's going on up here. And honestly, I have like accidentally purchased a different shade of Anastasia before, or rather I was just like trying out a different shade, and it stands out when it's not the right shade. At least for me, I noticed that like it is noticeable when it's the wrong shade. It doesn't look bad but for me, it just was noticeable in a way that like defeats the purpose of so much of my makeup. Like I just want it to be subtle, you know, and like look natural. But luckily, Anastasia has me totally covered. Their dark brown shade, which used to be called brunette, works perfectly for me. At least in my humble opinion. I mean, if you guys like are looking at my face right now and you're like, oh, that looks terrible, Christina, like that's cool. Keep that to yourself. I don't really care. I like how it looks on me. So they have 2 types of pencils, Brow Wiz and the other brow version that's like kind of thicker and has like a triangle point. I prefer the more narrow version because the wide one tends to push me towards drawing on a much thicker brow, and the thinner one lets you be quite a bit more precise. I also feel like I need to fill pigment in underneath my brow hairs because like I used to overpluck by like a lot, and I feel like that's more easily achieved with the narrow version. I super love the twist up format of the pencil version because I'll be damned if I can ever keep track of a freaking pencil sharpener. The one drawback though is that if you don't keep good tabs on the quantity of of brow crayon that you have, the twist up format will run out on you like kind of spontaneously, or rather what feels spontaneously, and leave you with like just one eyebrow done. Like it'll be like this and you're like, oh no, my eyebrow pencil is gone. I really wish makeup companies would figure out like an indicator system for the twist up versions of their products that would tell you when it's likely to run out. Although I guess the solution that I found to that problem was to just buy a spare to have on hand, and so congratulations you guys, like you got me to buy a second set. And then what's also really nice is that there's a plain brush on the back side, which I already showed y'all on my eyelashes, and then you just use it to blend out the eyebrow pencil. And that's about it for my makeup routine, you guys. This is, again, the best makeup regimen that I've ever found for hot weather and long ass days on a hotline, and for camping trips, for outdoor festivals, for outdoor cooking events. You're ready for festivals, for farmers markets, for ambitious food photographers hitting you up at the end of an 8 or 12 hour shift on like July 17th. Also, if you do want to, do go ahead and like pop on another layer of the setting powder, because truly that is really what will get you through. And then finally, I just wanted to bring up again the point of having those makeup removal wipes at the ready for the end of your super hot day. I find that the sooner I can get the makeup off of my face and like clean out the sweat and oil and gunk from my pores, the better my skin fares over the long term. And so when I used to work like dinner shifts and like I would be done with work at like 11:30 or midnight, I would go into our our like office / locker room, because heads up you guys, they don't really give us a lot of like really nice accommodations when we're getting ready before or after work. When you're working as a line cook or even a server, like nobody gets a nice situation to get nice in or to get ready in. But anyway, so that I would save myself the trouble of having to be tired on the bus, have like makeup still while I'm on my commute, and then go home and feel too tired to take my makeup off or wash my face, and then ultimately cause myself more trouble in terms of like my skin health. So it's pretty lovely to take off your makeup as soon as you're done with work or whatever event you're planning for, and just like ride home with a clean, fresh face that's like a little bit cooler. It's pretty lovely. Oh, and then lip gloss. So this is a lip gloss by Bare Minerals. They have a line that is all like nude inspired shades, and so they're supposed to like look and feel really natural on you, but with like a little bit of shine. And this is my absolute favorite. I'm actually due to re-up on it because it's getting kind of thick, but I do love this shade. I think it looks really nice on my skin tone. So if you're somebody who looks like me, I highly recommend you get after the Bare Minerals lip gloss line. And the super nice thing about a lip gloss, as opposed to lipstick or any other lip treatment, it's really nice for professional cooks because we have to be tasting stuff all the time. And so it's like really hard for me to commit to a lip color that isn't a gloss and like easy to put on. I'm also like a little bit afraid of stuff smudging, but I feel like because the feeling of lip gloss is very particular, you'll know if it's gotten smudged. Whereas I feel like with my lipstick, it can get smudged or get on my teeth in a way that like I would never notice unless somebody told me or I caught a glance in the mirror. But the super nice thing about lip gloss is that you can reapply it as needed without a mirror or anything, and you can just go by feel. Yeah, and this stuff is like very shiny and it feels really natural, and it is slightly attention grabbing without being overly ostentatious, which again, my goal with this look is to look really natural. If you want to be ostentatious, have at it, please do. I think they do also have like brighter shades too. It's really light wearing too. It's not like overly sticky, and so it's pretty comfortable to wear. I will say though that the kind of attention you get in a professional kitchen when you put on lip gloss is not always the attention that you want. And so, I mean, I'm not trying to encourage you or discourage you from wearing lip gloss in your work environments, but just a heads up, that's something that I've experienced. So anyway, I hope this helps you dial in your hot weather makeup routine, because definitely if you are a human being on this planet, you're about to experience a lot hotter weather than you're used to. And I really hope that no matter what you do with your makeup, you make time to talk to your senators about what they feel about climate change and what they're about to do about it. Thanks again so much for joining us today. I really hope this video helps you out with your hot weather looks. Let me know what your makeup recommendations are in the comments, and hit like if you found this video helpful, and please do me a solid and hit subscribe as well. Huge thanks to all of the Patreons who helped make this happen, and don't forget, you can get access to that exclusive meaty live stream and Instagram account and tons more benefits by becoming a Patreon. So find out more via the link in the description below. Thanks again, y'all. See you on Tuesday. Bye.